Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We've got a wonderful person here. I will let him introduce himself. Well, I'm going to say it's Matt Stabb, and he's from a very interesting initiative which makes someone welcome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What's your job? What's your role?
I work for the Wiltshire Centre for Independent Living. We're based in Dubai. We're a user-led organisation, so that means we support anyone with a disability, mental health issue, older person, right across the board. So yeah, that's us.
That's fantastic. How long's that initiative been going? You said independent living, Wiltshire independent living.
We were set up in 2007.
2007.
Maybe even before that.
Okay, good. Now we come across you because you wrote to us about this Make Someone Welcome. Can you explain?
Yes.
Whose idea was that, by the way?
It was actually my line manager at the time, because we wanted to make people feel part of their community, and originally it was set up so that people would feel welcome when they went to groups.
Yeah.
So it was about having someone as a welcomer in that group to make them feel comfortable. Right. But as you can imagine, like everything, it sort of morphed into a different thing over the years.
Yeah.
So where we are now, we've got over 200 organisations, local businesses, shops, community groups like your wonderful selves.
Well, stop it now, please. You little ladder, you.
So
that's great. 200. That's
amazing. And it's about making connections, linking people up, and basically making kind of communities in Wiltshire.
Perfect. So the idea of the kind of communities couldn't have come about at a better time, could it?
Exactly. I mean, you think what we've just been through,
and going through,
what we're going to come out of.
Yeah.
And COVID, as you know yourself, it's opened up a whole can of worms. So we just want to make sure that there's a lot more kindness in Wiltshire and making people aware of what's out there, what kind of groups.
Absolutely, yeah. So during the lockdown then, was your group running? How were you keeping in contact?
We were, my team, because they're within Wiltshire still, Wiltshire Centre for Independent Living, there are several teams.
Yeah. So
my team was connecting with people, because I'm part of the user engagement team.
Yeah.
So we work with people to make sure that their voices are getting heard across Wiltshire.
Right, and so decision makers as well. So are you part of a department of the council, or are you a voluntary group, or how does it work?
We're a charity.
All right.
We are partly funded by the council, but we are a user-led organisation.
So it's independent?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Perfect. So how many members, users, would you say that you have? So you've got 200 organisations that signed up to this really lovely initiative. How many users have you got?
We're talking about thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because we also work with people that we support people that are on direct payments.
Yeah.
So if you've got an assessed need of a care need, like I'm going to use myself as an example because I use a direct payment.
Yeah.
So I employ my own staff or care agency
Good. That's good, isn't it?
to support me to live my life.
Yeah.
So the everything you guys take for granted, I do that as well. So the only thing that is different for me is I have a disability. I work, I'm married, I pay me taxes. Now, when I tell people that, normally this is the interesting bit, because I usually get the sympathy bit where
Because you pay taxes?
where they say, oh, that's really good, and like, well, I'm only doing the normal,
what everyone else does.
What everyone else does, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I get it. So that's interesting, isn't it? How people
Yeah.
sometimes perceive people
Yeah.
when they think they've got a disability.
Yeah.
Well, your disability is a physical one, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because intellectually, you're
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't, I mean, it's society is the barrier to disability. It's not the physical impairment.
Yeah. Do you think things have changed then? And has your organisation helped to bring about change?
We always help to bring about change.
Yeah.
Where we challenge in a way that makes people think.
Yeah, perfect. We did a project once with, it's Green Square now, but it's Wesley.
Yeah.
And it was to do with disabled users of their services.
Yeah.
And we filmed a little documentary,
Yeah.
which again was all about how, not just the needs that they had within the housing association and the support that they needed, but about just how actually normal their lives are, bar little bits of physical sometimes. So one of them playing tennis. Well, she played tennis every week, she just happened to play it in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? So it's all stuff like that. And I think the bit about society's perception of what disabled people, you know, they see it in a wheelchair and they think you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then it goes on, doesn't it? And so I think that more communication, the more ways of people to learn that, I think it would become easier. What other ways would you like to use, for instance?
Well, for me, and I always tell people, I always say to people, I'm lucky because I was born disabled. So I don't know any different.
Yeah.
Although, as I've got older, it's got more frustrating because there's things I can't do physically around the house.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, but that's by the by, that you just deal with it and get on with it.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, I'm more passionate about getting people with hidden disability to have a voice, because they're the ones that get the grief every day.
Right, because no one knows, they can't see it, yeah.
On the outside, they have no physical disability, and we hear quite a few stories, but particularly with COVID in the pandemic, people were getting grief because they weren't wearing a mask.
Right, and they couldn't,
And they had their sunflower tags on, but they were still getting grief. So I'm more passionate about raising awareness about hidden disability than I am physical disability, because people some people, like I said at the beginning, COVID has opened up a whole kind of
yeah.
world.
So people are now seeing how different people are affected, there's got to be so much more mental health problems, don't you think?
Yeah.
So people that I keep saying this on this podcast, people that had mental health issues before, will they just be worse, won't they? And people that didn't think they had mental health issues will start to be having them.
That's exactly it. And this is where we do a lot of work to get people's voices heard. I mean, we run a magazine.
Wow.
We do. Hopefully, this is going to be a regular sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's getting the word out there.
That's it. Communicate, which is why I wanted you to be on this podcast. Even though, bizarrely, for the first time, even though we are in the S.H.O.P, everyone, the social help of positivity, we're actually in the dressing room of Dorothy Perkins. Now, I don't know about you, Matt Boy, but if she comes back now, we could both be in big trouble. But it's a very bizarre space, but it will do for the time being.
Yeah.
Because out there, as you know, there's lots of people doing various things. What we found, and what was lovely about when you turned up, our premises are upstairs. The music studio, the art, where we do the filmmaking and everything else. And we can't really give the full offer to everyone in society. So that's why we're really, really keen to take on this space. As you have testified, you come straight from the street, can't you?
It's right.
Exactly. So every gate, we want to thank them because this is really serving us as
and there's a toilet just round the corner,
which is just there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's every sort of toilet, which is perfect because of course that's a main consideration.
Yeah.
But we've had loads of people with all, and you're right. We've had people with disabilities that you know because they've come in with their wheelchairs and they've looked at the art and what have you, so you can see that. But we've had more that have walked in here that we've never known had any disabilities or any challenges, but thankfully because we have a space where you can just talk, have a conversation, we're finding out lots more.
And do you know what? Talking and having a conversation is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
And just checking how someone is.
Absolutely. Just that little interaction.
Yeah.
I do it walking down the street. Now, for me, I find it quite bizarre. I don't know about yourself. I
do walking.
Bizarre.
But
Okay. Promenading down the street as I would, getting rolling like thunder, right? Yeah. When I'm rolling that way, when I'm going down the street, and I just say hello, good morning to people, and people don't say good morning back. Now that could be about me, but I just think that there's certain parts of our communities and societies that people just think, have we got to where people can't even say good morning to each other?
Exactly. But I think, I don't want to get too deep, but I think certain things have made society that way at this moment in time.
Get deep, brother. Tell me what you think is about. Come on, let me learn.
At this moment in time.
Yeah.
So, but that's why it's important that you're here, the Wiltshire Centre for Independence. Because we change that.
Yeah.
We flip it on its head.
Yes.
And say,
brilliant.
And say, okay, people might be struggling.
Yeah.
But there are ways you can get over that.
Right. So in the event that anyone's actually watching our wonderful podcast, although they will be now because they know you're on it. How could an organisation, if an organisation watches this and thinks, oh yeah, we want to get a part of this initiative, how would they get in contact?
They would contact, if they wanted to get involved in the Make Someone Welcome project, they would contact me at wiltshireseal.org.uk, or they could phone.
Tell you what we're doing, I'm laughing because I'm pointing at Rebecca, because what we're going to do is you're going to give us this information and we're going to put it up. I don't know, it's going to be here on your belly on the screen, yeah? So every bit of contact information, what are that individual, same thing? If someone wanted to be part of the Wiltshire Independent Living,
right. So, there's all, if they want to work with our community connectors, because that's something I haven't touched on yet.
right?
But-
Community connectors.
Yeah. They're called,
Aren't you one of those?
no, the buzzword is social prescribers.
Social prescribers. Good morning, madam. And who are you today? I'm a social prescriber. Wow, who came up with that one?
But that's why they're called connectors, because that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And what the way people can get in touch with them is through their GP surgeries.
Wicked. So you could, any GP in Wiltshire will know about these.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And the thing is about our connectors is that they work one-to-one with individuals.
Yeah.
So they work alongside, they don't do one-two, because it's not about our connectors having a good life, it's about making sure that the individual wants to change.
Yeah.
And they can support them
Yeah.
in any way they want. For example, one of our Make Someone Welcome groups is a Wiltshire Walkers group, and they were set up by one of our connectors was working with someone who wanted to do just a walk.
Yeah.
So they set up Wiltshire Walkers. We've had GP surgeries for the community connectors.
Yeah.
We also have people. We also have the other connectors that work directly with people that use accident and emergency hospitals on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, what I'll do is I will get you all the contact details, because to be fair, I didn't know what to expect today. So,
Yeah, of course.
But yeah.
Nor did I, to be fair. Nor did Rebecca, and she does loads of these.
So,
She's still struggling there. She's thinking, what's going on here? Now we're in the dressing room.
so
We get all those. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. How about this then? What's the other side of your life? What's your social life like? Come on. Tell everyone out here about your music and about your...
well,
Come on, son.
well, not with my work head on now.
Okay. But I'm just thinking, are there social aspects to what you guys do? Are there get-togethers? Are there concerts? Are there... Do you know what I mean? Because part of what you're doing, the Make Someone Welcome thing is about different organisation, which is fantastic, making people aware, and it's an important thing. We've taken it very seriously. If you're an individual that wants to use those services, you said about all the community connectors, etc., you can get support from these groups. Is there a big, and there's the Walkers group, is there a social aspect? Is there a celebratory type of part of it? The parties, basically. I want to get invited to a party, Matt. What's going on, Sam?
Well, we don't necessarily do parties, because, like, for me, my life, I love gigs, as you know.
Yeah.
And I'm a big gigger before lockdown.
Yeah.
And so, we don't... If someone said to us, if one of the connectors was working with someone that wanted to go to a gig, they would support them to do that. But then they would back off, because it's about making connections. Because you can't, as a disabled person, and I'm partly talking personally, you can't, to get friends, you have to get out there yourself. You can't, like, although I get on really well with my PAs, or my support workers, they're not my friends.
No, that's professional.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, professional relationship, different.
So we don't necessarily do want to, but if someone said to us, I really want to go to a gig,
Yeah.
we would find ways for them to achieve that.
Get it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. Totally does.
So,
yeah. Okay.
because if you're not careful, you could make an independency on someone.
Yes.
And that's not what it's all about.
Absolutely. I get it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. What other things that would you like to say which you think are important that maybe people don't understand about your organisation, about anything you want to talk about, really?
But disabled people, no matter what their impairment or disability is, they are a human being. So treat them with respect, treat them with dignity, and just treat them like a human being. But, like all of us, there are disabled people out there that think the world over the living and that are total. But I wouldn't, just because I have a disability, that doesn't mean I get on with every disabled person in wheelchair. Because believe me,
it'll be impossible.
It's like in any walk of life. You may like to say things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you get. Because I often, growing up, I used to get all my mates in a chair. "Oh, we live round the corner, do you know him?" And it's like, yeah. And also, for me, and I'm talking personally now, there's nothing worse than going to a gig and then someone keeps rubbing you on the head and saying, "Oh, it's so good to see you out," or grabbing you by the arm. I call it special dancing, I call it, when they grab you by the arm and like just...
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story. My mate, we were seeing Cockspur in the Fleet in Bristol.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it was Cockspur, and I think it might have been the Oppressed and the Rejects. And someone started grabbing me by the hand, and I was like, "Mate, I'm at a gig.
Yeah.
I don't need this because I just want to enjoy it." And I nearly caused a major incident. My mate was like, "Back, leave him alone." I won't go into the language, but it was like, it's like...
It's funny, isn't it? How people perceive people in chairs. They're going to take away all the intellectual ability, personality. You're right, it says people are in a chair, that's it. What? It is quite that's due to do with lack of communication and understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
If there was something about how people are educated, how would you change it? What do you think is the better way?
Disability awareness training.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making people aware.
Yeah.
You know.
And how would you do that? What about making a video? You've got videos. Do you make videos?
Use my lived experience.
Yeah.
So getting out there and telling people about experiences.
Yeah.
But remember, Ed, I'm only one person.
Yeah, of course.
So I can only give my personal experience. Like, 75% of us that work at Wiltshire have a disability or impairment. So we are totally centred.
And you know exactly. Yeah.
So I can empathise with my colleagues, but I don't know what they go through every day.
It's different.
And then vice versa. So it's not just about wheelchairs, it's about everything. It's about it's about society in general.
Yeah. Do you think there's been a change in the last how many years since you've been doing this job?
Yeah, well, I've actually been, this would be my 9th year and 10 years next year.
That's great.
And I'm speaking personal now.
Yeah.
This isn't with my work head on. But yeah, I think if you look at the Black Lives Matter, that was really powerful. Now I'd like to see something like that when it comes to disability, because a lot of people with disability, particularly in COVID, now the word vulnerable, I know that's a word, but as per usual the press has taken it and flipped it into I'm not vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm me. And I know that vulnerable is a word, but use it differently.
Yeah.
It's because like I said,
It's used too often and it covers too many
it
things.
is now. It is particularly within COVID and disability, and we need to get away from that. So, in answer to your question, has it changed? Lots of things have changed. Lots of things have changed. Not all for the good.
I was going to say, is it for the better though?
Not necessarily. No. So all I'm going to say on that is it's going to be interesting where we go next with regarding disability and the UK regarding us being outside of Europe.
Yeah.
Because actually Europe did a lot it brought a lot of laws in to safeguard disability, as it did for other minority groups.
Yeah, that's interesting because people don't get that, do they? Not that I'm pro or not against Europe. I think there's lots of arguments, but you're right. With a lot of workers' rights, environmental laws, standards, right across the board. You're right. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? It'd be interesting to see how that pans out.
Because whether you leave or remain, it's irrelevant now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's gone. But I mean, you're right with regard to. I'd like to see how it settles.
Yeah.
With workers' rights, farmers, fisheries. They say there's loads of different things that have been on, but people's individual rights is something that I think will be quite intriguing when people look at what workers' rights, justice, or how we follow up justice.
So I don't want to get too political because I have got my own views, but disability. Sometimes it feels like we are going backwards rather than forward.
Really? In what respect?
Well, again, going back to COVID, people were having people with learning difficulties were having do not resuscitate notices, and that's like survival of the fittest.
Eugenics, isn't it?
I didn't want to get political, but yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And having a disability can be knackering as well, physically draining. Sometimes we have to fight for things you guys take for granted. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the care system at the moment is on its knees. But spinning it around, our organisations are here to support people to make sure that their voices are heard.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a disability movement like there was in the 90s when people handcuffed themselves to buses, trains and make sure
people understood and could see.
Yeah, but I think we need an equivalent to the Black Lives Matter movement to get...
Combination of that and Extinction Rebellion for disabled people, so that people really stood up and took notice. I said stood up there, I meant, technically, you know what I'm saying? The idea about spreading the how can we help you do that more? How could we as an organisation help you, considering we've got cameras and stuff? Is there any way that we can work together musically and cinemagraphically, or photography, or however that word is, poetry, photography? Is there a way, using the arts, that we could work together to enable you to help get the word out in a different way?
Me personally?
You, your organisation, the people that, I mean, you're great because I've met you and we've had a right old good time, so that's why I wanted you on this podcast, because you're interested. So, but here's the you're Matt. Yeah, you're this geezer right there who was interested, who was doing an interesting initiative, and you've got a job, you're an individual. I like that. Right? You represent an organisation, and you probably not the spokesperson for, but you're certainly a link, aren't you? You're definitely a link with me to say, what would we like to do? Would we like to make a film? What would we like to? Because here's the point. We give that opportunity, we share that opportunity with loads of people in organisations right around the country. It would seem strange that I wouldn't have the same problem. Like, we've got music studios, we can make music, we can do all those things. Yeah? So you're saying about equality, you're saying about, that's why I like this, I'm grateful to Emery Gate for letting us use this space, because it's one of the elements that's always bothered me, that we haven't had disabled access. Now, me and you got a mutual friend, haven't we? Dan McAleamy, if he's watching my... Right, really fantastic individual, and someone that we have cherished doing the work with in the past. It was always a difficulty, only physically, for his mother, to get him to work with us, because obviously we've got the stairs. Now, he did that twice. We did in our old office and our new office. But I know times have changed. We wouldn't probably get away with doing that anymore.
No,
right?
You probably wouldn't.
We wouldn't, would we? Exactly. So I still want to be able to give that opportunity. And now this is the better scenario, but is there, you don't have to answer me now, to think about it, go, oh yeah, do you know what? We want to do a little advert, or we want to do a promo about our organisation, and Ed said he's going to part your player, Jed, Ed Deed, the guy that can do that guy, said, okay, well, we'll support you on that, we'll work with you to make a little video if it helps. Say a little video, as long as you want. A video that starts getting the thoughts and ideas of your group, and just any, because I love the idea, I say love the idea, I'm concerned that you and your colleagues or the participants and users of your services may or may not have the same opportunities as the vast majority of people we work with. So I'm offering you the same thing, because I think that's part of the pledge, isn't it?
And what I'm going to do is, because I've got a colleague, because we do a lot of social media, we do a lot of our own videos.
Perfect. Oh, that's great.
And I'm going to link you up with my colleague Mary, who does all that side of stuff, because I think there would be an opportunity there, and I also think there could be an opportunity as well to do some collaborative working.
Perfect.
But let me go back and
have a talk with Mary. Down the road I look, and there stands Mary, hair of gold and lips like cherries.
It's all right, you've lost it.
It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. 21st, we've got a festival on here. I've got a festival. Unlock Reset Festival, 21st of June. You know, Boris had this idea that one day, crazy old Boris, one day we'd all be able to come out together and play We'd have to have music and poetry and everything else. We have got stuff happening in here, we've got stuff happening in the atrium with the Emery Gate. Up and down Chippenham, we've got various locations, right?
Yeah.
Music, poetry. It's a Monday. Do you work on a Monday?
I do.
Well, maybe you should be a personal person, somebody that comes across here on behalf of your organisation and partakes of the poetry and music and whatever, hang out, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, and just interact or you might have people who might want to come and perform. What do you think about that, Matty? Think about it. Just say to the group, say anyone want to do a song, a poem, to put some photographs up, do some art, whatever it is, right? And we'll make a special area so that it's completely inclusive.
Right.
Yeah?
That's cool. Can you send me details posted and I can promote it?
Yeah, I could send them. Do you think I'm going to be the guy that sends them? No. We know that someone out there is going to be that. But yeah, of course we can. 21st, and we'll put it on this video. So at the end of this video, you'll see it'll say 21st. I'm telling this because Rebecca knows this is going to happen. 21st On Lock Reset Festival, burning of the wig. Don't ask me about the burning of the wig now. Just tell me. I'll tell you about when we're burning it on the 21st. Yeah, do that. So we'll just keep a complete fluid thing.
And I'll send you details of everything you said.
Yes, and remember the other thing I said to you last time. Me and you were going to learn a song together, Matty.
Oh yes!
We're going to learn a song together, my brother. Don't tell the audience what it is.
Yes.
You promised me.
Okay.
We would do that, right? So keep that stum. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be for the 21st. We should do one so we can do one and do a little video so it's done. Yeah, because we'll have a bit of fun doing that. He's there. Right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Matt Stabb. Anything else you want to say, my brother?
It's been wonderful. Thank you for inviting me over.
It's an absolute pleasure. The last time you were here was great. You're welcome anytime, as are your colleagues and people that use, because once we've got this space, we want to use it and embrace it. So check out this guy's details. He's a great geezer. What the organisation does is fantastic, and there's loads of it. If you want to get involved, you'll see all the details here. I'm saying this now because Rebecca's watching me. Right here. Thank you very much. See you soon from the S.H.O.P, the Social Hub of Positivity. 21st of June. Be good. Thank you. Goodbye.